Hey, what is up, guys? Derek from Not So Gaming here. Today I wanted to talk about an update that we had just gotten from Riftbound that is blowing up on the Discord in different text channels and things. And this is in relation to the digital tools policy update that we had just gotten, um, specifically for third-party clients like Tabletop Sim, Rift Sim that's being developed, as well as Pixelborn. I got the news when I saw that Pixelborn had announced that on August 7th, they are shutting down. They are shutting down the access for Riftbound because the app does not comply with these new rules that they have presented. And I think it's a good conversation to have. We saw this kind of early on with Lorcana, that Lorcana had, or that Riftbound, or that Pixelborn had dropped Lorcana from their service and had strictly gone to a webcam play. And that is probably along the lines of where Riftbound will be going. But why is it happening? So, with the digital tools policy update that they had posted, so Riot had said that their policy prohibits any fan project that crosses the line into making a game using Riot IP. In this case of Riftbound, we're concerned with projects that enable Riftbound gameplay with automated rules, interactions, and resolution with less need for social interaction. So one of their reasons for doing this is that they have created this digital card, or this physical card game, that they do not want to be accessed and playable in an automated digital variant. So when we look at they have said, like, we want people to go, like, game nights at home, go to their favorite LGS, or anywhere else that your Riftbound journey takes you. This is regionals, the World Championships, all of those different things. But one of the things that they're kind of failing to recognize is that there is a large group of people that play these games solely digital. I know for Yu-Gi-Oh!, which is the game that I primarily play, we have Dueling Book, there's so many different simulators. We have Master Duel. There are people that are only Master Duel players, and even though it's a different game from the actual, like, paper card game, there are people that's the game that they want to play. They don't want to have to go to their LGS. They don't want to have to open booster boxes. They want to be able to play in a digital format. And so for something like Dueling Book, it's also incredible for testing. Having a digital platform where you can go and you can test with every card available to you, that you don't have to go and buy, and if it's expensive and you don't end up playing it, having it, that's something that's really nice. And what people have said about the Riftbound news is that Tabletop Sim is still going to be allowed. Tabletop Simulator kind of checks all the boxes of what Riot has said that they want the simulators to look like. So getting into that, they have also updated this developer portal specifically for Riftbound. So what they have said is kind of an approved use case. So deck builders and card libraries. This is something that uses their photos and their data, but it's not really allowing you to play the game. Like, you can build decks, you can have card libraries, you can have, I know that some people build, like, collection depots where you can go in and mark, like, oh, I have 3 of this card, I have 2 of that card. But what they don't want is simulators with automated rule enforcement. So this is where, unlike Dueling Book, which is a very manual system, so to show you what I'm talking about, like, this is Dueling Book. Like, when I hover over a card, I have these options of, like, set the card to the graveyard, but, like, if I set it, I can place it anywhere. The game isn't automated in doing those things for me. I can set the cards and they move in a specific direction. I can move them around, but I'm not just hovering over a card and saying play and it does the effect for me. So something like that Riot would allow, something manual. They don't want, and this is where it kind of gets confusing for me, is they don't want any standalone clients for Riftbound. So they don't want something that you go to and you're like, this is the Riftbound client, and you go to it and that's your Riftbound game. They want mods to facilitate the Riftbound gameplay to live within broadly applicable, like, to multiple games. This is Tabletop Sim. Tabletop Sim has obviously 1,000 million different things that you can play, and Riftbound is just a mod within there, and they're okay with that. You can't monetize your app, obviously. That makes sense. You shouldn't be profiting off of their game. And then this is another thing that confused me. So no skill-based matchmaking, player-facing rank or ladder systems. So most simulators, even like Dueling Book, have some sort of ladder system. So being able to play somebody, queue up into a ranked format, and you play, and then whoever wins gets an elo, and they go up, or if they lose, they go down. I don't really understand the point of not allowing skill-based matchmaking. Like, if you only want custom games in your like tabletop sim, that's fine. But I don't understand the reasoning behind not having a ladder system. And then this other part, and people were already talking about this in the Discord, no publishing or retaining metagame defining data for Riftbound. Play rates of certain decks, win rates for certain decks, and match up with certain percentage differentials. When it comes to, I know that Dueling Book has done this in the past, where they will at the end of like a period or a format post and be like, hey, this is what deck everyone is playing, or this is the cards that everyone's playing, and have win rates associated to that. It allows people to be like, oh, I thought this deck was going to be a lot better, and it turns out that it isn't as good as I thought it was going to be. So I don't really understand the reasoning behind this too, and I guess this kind of comes along the lines of like, we want people to go out and kind of feel out the game and learn the matchups and things like that. But a lot of people do that digitally, and that's how you get these players that are substantially better than other people, is that they play online, they play religiously online in the simulators and things, so that when they come to a tournament or a regional, they have played 10x the amount that other people have played. So I don't know the reasoning behind this. I don't know if they want it to be more of a casual game. I could see something like Lorcana doing this, where like Ravensburger has said like, hey, we want it to be a more casual, like fun game or whatever, and they don't want people to just like bang their head into the wall trying to figure out the perfect 40 card deck. But with a game like this, like Riot has League of Legends, that is a very competitive game. I don't really understand why they would want to limit that data from getting out there. I don't know, it's a little weird. The monetization stuff, obviously I'm not going to be like, no, like, you don't make money off of somebody else's game. So why are they doing this? I think one of the reasons is they want people to go into the store, and they want people to buy the cards. If everyone is playing digitally and nobody's buying the cards, obviously there's going to be no game. The reason that they have probably moved on from Legends of Runeterra, or one of the theories, is that there was poor monetization around it, and TCGs is a much better way of monetization. That like, you have to buy boxes, you have to buy playmats, you have to buy deck boxes, you have to go to tournaments, you have to sign into the tournaments, and all of that. That is all making them money that they were not making on Legends of Runeterra. So they want people to go out and actually buy the cards. And if local game stores are not supporting it, nobody's buying the cards. So yeah, I mean, they want people to go to local game stores. They want people to buy the cards. They want to make the money. The other thing, and this is something that somebody brought up in the Discord recently, is that on Riot's website, under their careers, they have a job application currently for a technical game designer for Riftbound, the League of Legends trading card game. Located in LA. This was posted, I think somebody found it a couple of weeks ago. But this is somebody that their desired qualifications are years of professional game experience. And that could be, they just want somebody that can make card games. But they want somebody proficient in Python, which is a coding language, but then also developing in Unreal, C++, and other gameplay in like other languages. Why would they need somebody that knows these languages and Unreal, which is a system that people have been using to develop card simulators recently, if they were not making their own card sim? I fully believe that they probably are. That cracking down on some of these other, like, you can build a deck builder, you can build a card library, but we don't want any automated system, is because they're going to have their own. And I think that makes sense. They're going to have their own system that you're going to be able to play in. I don't think it's going to be anything like Altered where you scan your cards and they go to your collection. I think it's probably going to be somewhat of like Master Duel for Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Magic the Gathering Arena, where it's kind of its own separate game, but still follows the ban list and the card releases of the actual game. This is kind of their way of both having a trading card game, a paper-based card game, but then also having a digital version that those digital players can go to, which at the beginning, like I said, by getting rid of these simulators, you're kind of getting rid of the ability for these digital only people to play. But if they have their own system, they can play again. Another thing that I wanted to cover previously when talking about the removal of the automated sims and having only things like Tabletop Simulator is this allows people to kind of learn the game. And so for something like Riftbound, where the game is already kind of showing itself to be a little more complex than other games in the past, with the chaining and the reactions and the timings and hiding and the power cost and things like that, there are a lot of pieces that a new player isn't going to be able to immediately understand from playing on Tabletop Simulator or going to a Learn to Play event at a store, at a local game store, which they will be doing soon. I know my local game store is. But having these automated systems where you play a card and it automates and it kind of does it for you, I know a lot of people like that because they can kind of learn these decks. They can kind of learn the interactions. And when I play this thing and, oh, I didn't realize it worked like that, but the simulator kind of helps you and carries your hand a little bit. For those early games, like, it's kind of nice to learn how to play that way. And I think that's another thing that they are kind of gonna miss, is that new players, if a new player is coming into the game and they're like, hey, I've played all these card games in the past, they can pick this game up pretty quickly. But for somebody new, having all of these rules and not having anybody to really teach them or an automated system to guide their hand, they may not like the game. They might be like, okay, it's too complex, nobody's teaching me, it's too hard, and they'll leave. So I think that's something that they're forgetting to kind of acknowledge with removing these automated systems. Yeah, but that's it. I mean, I just wanted to, this is my first Riftbound video. I have another one that I'm in the process of making where I'm actually looking at the table layout of the actual game. So that'll be coming out sometime soon. But in the meantime, take care, have a good weekend, and thanks. Comment below.